Hi everyone. So I uploaded the the data set onto Canvas. So download the lab2 wages.sav. So this is the data set. I have it open, and today we're gonna go over getting descriptive statistics again, but we're also going to get z-scores. And I originally made this data set, or I didn't make this data set, but I downloaded this data set originally from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. What I was interested in, so I have the website posted um, on the slides, so you can see that. But why I have it is because I was interested in what different major occupations, so these are different major occupations, so there's management, business, financial operations, computer, mathematical, architecture, and engineering, and then it shows the mean hourly wage in the US, and then it also shows the mean hourly wage in LA City, Long Beach, and Anaheim, so pretty much sort of like the LA area, Southern California. And so I put this data set together from that website. So let's always what we do when we first look at a data set. And you guys can follow along in the PowerPoint or you can watch the video. But what I typically do first, what we're going to do first is look at descriptive statistics. So we're going to go to data. Sorry, let's go to analyze this. I knew that looked wrong. Analyze descriptive statistics, then descriptives. Oops, and that popped out on the other side of my screen. And so let's put over both data sets. Oh, sorry, both variables. So these are both variables. One is the hourly wage, the mean hourly wage in the US, and one is the mean hourly wage in LA. So then if you click options, and all my screens keep popping up, you can see all the options that we learned about. So you can look at the mean, standard deviation, we talked about variance, range, min and max, I like having those, as well as, okay, and that's, we have almost everything. So distribution is the way the data look. We didn't learn about this in this class, but let's take a look at what we get. So what's going to happen is an output. Okay, so then we press OK. Okay, and so it shows, so in this table you can see this is the mean hourly wage in the US on average. So we just looked at the entire variable, and then the mean hourly wage in LA. So for each, so number n is the number of the number of individuals, or so number of samples. So you have 22 for the US, 22 for LA, and then we have our range, the minimum number, the maximum number. So the number, this is hourly wage, so this is dollars an hourly wage. And then we have that mean, and then standard deviation and variance, right? So standard deviation and variance are measures of the variability of the data set, how wide apart each point is for the entire data set. So I'm going to go back to my data set. And then what we want to look at, so we did descriptives. We can also, in the descriptives button, we can print out z-score. So if you go back to analyze, descriptives, and then, sorry, descriptive statistics, and then you press on Save Standardized values. You press OK. And then we can go back to your actual data set. And so next to the data set, next to the numbers, you can see the z-scores. So what it prints out are z-scores. So for the mean hourly wage, for management, you can see that has a z-score of 2.34. And because we learned about z-scores, you can know what that means, right? So think about what you think that means for a z-score to be 2.34 or 2.35 if you round it up. What that means is it's very high in the distribution, right? So remember I was talking about a z-score of 1.96. If you get, when we're doing the hypothesis testing, if you get a z-score above 1.96, that means you're above the cutoff for 5%. And so this is a very high number, a very high z-score. Let's see what a low z-score. So I think in this data set, -1. So this is food preparation, serving related. That has a lower z-score, or building and grounds cleaning and maintenance. So those are just some examples. Right in the middle, this is very close. Let's see, that's very close to -1. So I'm looking, so this is very close to 0. So that's an education, training, or library, right? So that's sort of interesting. So we can see, using the z-score, we can see where in the distribution different groups or categories fall. Okay, so now we can compare means, right? We can compare the means and see if there's a difference between groups. So we can click on analyze and then compare means, and then you can press on means. And then this will pop up a new window. And don't put the z-score because that would make it, you're not looking at the raw data. We want to look at the raw data and compare it under the means, and then we can press options. And we can keep all these options. Let's see, number mean. So I would also put over the median. Put it up there. Oh, sorry, I didn't put it up. It's standard. We can put up standard error. Right, standard error, right? And then press continue. Okay. So my computer is a little slow because it's analyzing. Okay, so now we can see, we can compare the means. So all this is saying is it included every single group. But what you can see is you can compare the mean hourly wage in the US versus LA. And then you can compare their standard error of the mean. So that is it. So how you want to save this may be different for everyone, but how I would save this is I would, you could do it a few different ways. You can print it as a PDF. Let me see if I have, actually, I'm not sure if I have that option. Another way is export. So this is the typical way. don't know what happened. You can do export and then export as a PDF. Okay, so export as a PDF, and I'm gonna save in my documents. So you have to look at lab, I'm gonna save as lab 2. I'm just gonna save in this folder. Then press OK. So you want to go into the folder and open your output. I had already done that. And so you can see all of the output that you have, right? And you want to make sure that's in the lab when you submit it. So I wanted to sort of show you guys this because you can use data from the internet, from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and then compare, like look at a specific data point you may be interested in. So I have, let's see. So I don't know what's going on. So if you remember, we printed out all the z-scores for my APA format. So I don't know if you guys can see this, but I'll post this on Canvas as well. But I say the difference between occupations in the United States and LA was compared. The mean 22 occupations in the US, and I put down the mean that I got from my output, and the mean for LA. And then I specifically talked about, so look at the data set and think about which item you would be interested in, and then talk about that particular occupation. So I was particularly interested in the management, that the z-score was 2.4 in the United States and 2.2 in LA, which shows that management wage is above average. So take a look at what you may find as interesting. And that's all for the lab. So I just want this paragraph to be written, as well as your output from SPSS.